let's put you in Paris.
Barely. I have to fit into 2 bridesmaid dresses this spring, but when in Paris, right?
I love bread. It's so good. I love it.
Chubby bunny.
It's so good. This is what I love bread.
Chubby bunny.
So this week had a lot going on. I was in Washington, D.C. for the first part of the week with the ASBA officer team and some other board members from Tolleson Union and Dysart and I believe Creighton. I think that's right. And we were going to Capitol Hill and meeting with our Arizona congressional delegation. We talked about IDEA reauthorization, rural school infrastructure, impact aid, school safety. We met with 9 out of 11 offices, and we met with 5 members directly to discuss the federal policy around education in Arizona. And so we think it was a very productive visit. Glad we're able to get back there with NSBA once a year at least to talk to our federal compatriots about how they can help us here in Arizona. So while I was gone, Lee and Morgan were in charge of committee. So they're going to recap for you House and Senate Ed from last week before we get into what's coming up this week.
Yeah, so House Education was Monday. It was the very first meeting, so that was a little wacky. Started late, ended late, got it done, but it was fun. A couple cool bills that we talked about last week, but just wanted to tell you all they passed. The rollover, 2187, appropriation to pay down the K-12 rollover by 1/3 this year, and then it was amended to be a 33% the next year, 33% the following year. We supported that, and that passed, so we were happy. It also passed through House Appropriations the next day, so it's rolling right along, if you know what I'm saying. Also, 2310 was the repeal of the lowest bid requirement for procurement, and that passed, so we were also in support of that. And the ELL bill, 2184, passed through committee. So all good things happening in House Education. We'll see what happens next week, but it was a long, productive meeting. There's only 4 of them this session, so they got to really pack them in tight.
Yeah, 2184, that's the ELL one, right? So that's a mirror to the Senate one, which means they're on track to meet and pass together if they're identical by the time they get to the floor. So that's very good. I noted that this week there's a bill that ASBA is helping out for Bouse Elementary to help with their budget. Got out of the House 59-0, and it's on its way to the Senate, so hopefully we can get that done pretty soon. So, and then on the rollover, if you're a nerd and you watch House Appropriations Committee, you saw that there was some extreme confusion about how the rollover works still, even after it's been in place for 10 years. So
Math is hard.
It is, but I think we're getting there. We're working with members to try to help them understand that paying down the rollover is not a $300 million cash infusion to school districts. It just moves the money back across the line. So when you hear people talk about the rollover, don't get excited. It's $333 million cost for a month to the state to roll back 1 month of a payment, but it doesn't actually increase district budgets, if that makes sense. So don't get too excited when you hear about that.
And to backtrack about ELL, there was an amendment on the House side, so it will have to be changed to match in the Senate side. It changed the models. Previously, they were outlined as being for K through 6 and for 7 through 12, but now they are K through 5 and 6 through 12. So same minute requirements as previously discussed, but that might make it a little easier for some districts with, 6th graders and different scheduling and bells and things like that. So just something to be aware of on the Senate side when it changes.
Senate Ed, what do you got?
All right, so nothing too crazy interesting in Senate Ed this week. The one bill that we were concerned with was Senate Bill 1118, and that was just adding more money in for our charter districts and oversight. So it adds 8 more positions, mostly with financial oversight, increased site visits, and everything like that. So that's something that we were pretty excited about, and that did pass through the committee. So that was all that really happened, 2 of the bills were struck. 1073 was moved to next week again, and then 1071 now will be heard next week as well, instead of last week. So there ended up only being 4 bills, with the only one we were really too concerned with being the charter oversight.
Yeah, so that's good. Thank you for the recap. Next, I would say this week and next week. I don't understand. It's Friday. This week was already happened, and next week is going to happen.
Time is meaningless anyway.
Yeah, it's an artificial construct. But on Monday and Tuesday, we have education committees coming up, so we'll talk about that. So Monday coming up, House Ed, we got our first STO bill of the session. House Bill
2517.
See, this is why I need people to help me. 2517, which expands STOs to be able to be used for preschool funding. And we've spoken with the sponsor about the bill. She understands our concern that expanding STOs is not something the ASBA supports. We're going to keep working on the bill. Pay attention to your email today and Monday for updates on how you can help advocate against STO expansion. The sponsor, Representative Udall, has been a friend of ours in the past. She really wants to help fund early childhood, which we totally understand and support. It's just the mechanism that she's chosen is not one that we prefer. So we will keep working on that and keep you posted. The other one that I think of concern for us to look out for is Senate Bill 1073 and Senate Ed. That's the consolidation election bill. It's been on the agenda a couple of times and it's been held. We continue to have problems with it. We haven't seen any amendments yet, but there are problems with that bill due to the fact that it was supposed to be automatically repealed after 2 years. It's been amended out in the current bill so that it would be a permanent law change. That's a problem. And then also there's still some issues around how the election would be decided that are important for local control. So we will, and taxpayer equity, frankly. So those are the 2 that we're working on. What else we got?
Do you want to talk about the EFRG bill?
Oh yeah, so EFRG, our friends at EFRG had proposed what they're calling a calculated opportunity index, because why not? And what that basically does is say that you're going to get extra money for every percentage point above the state average of free and reduced lunch eligibility students that you have. And then there's a weight assigned to that, and then it's added to the formula to produce extra funding. It's sort of a trial balloon of what we had referred to as a poverty weight, what other people had referred to as an opportunity weight. Regardless, it's a trial balloon of that. It's calculated to generate about $36 million.
And I will add, it's added to the teacher experience index, is where it's put on there.
Yeah, so it'll raise TEI funding for districts, and then it's added to the base level for charters, but since charters don't get TEI, but it's calculated the same way. It's kind of complicated, but regardless, it doesn't give charters TEI, but it does sort of use that same calculation. Regardless, $36 million. We'll see where it goes. We're excited that concept has entered the conversation, so we will keep you apprised on that. We'll be supporting that. The other one that's out there is there's one on patriotic youth groups, Senate Bill 1099. We're sort of following ASA's lead on that. It was something that we couldn't support initially, and neither could they. I think we've been working together with the sponsors of the bill, which are Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boys and Girls Club, those kinds of organizations, to allow them to have access to the school to basically recruit. We had said that we don't support being told that we have to allow access for a certain period of time to any group, doesn't matter who they are. And the sponsors were receptive to that, so it's been sort of made a permissive thing. So we're still working on that, but it looks like it's headed in the right direction. So, now, let's see. And then we have State of Education agenda, or State of Education address. on Monday and Tuesday, or just Monday? Monday, in front of House Ed. Superintendent Hoffman will be speaking and delivering her State of Education address. So look out for that. And I think that's pretty much it. Y'all have anything else? No? Okay.
We sent an email yesterday about tax conformity. Check that if you want an update. That was all we saw yesterday, but it was a pretty busy week.
Yeah. And getting busier.
Yeah, we can all drink water still. So.
Yeah. We'll have water, hopefully, at least for the next 24 months. So after that, all bets are off.
Anyway, on that note, have a good weekend, guys. Enjoy all your water. Yeah.
Go swimming. Or, have a glass of water. Whatever. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.